Number 10 is the Rolling Acres Mall. The abandoned Rolling Acres Mall in Arkin, Ohio was so dangerous that the mayor of Arkin made a public statement about its safety. He urged people to steer clear from it. That's how bad it was. Now, the mall itself was no stranger to violent crime while open, and things did not improve while it was closed. Most famously, on September 1st, 1986, Richard Cooey, Clinton Dickens, and Kenneth Horrence Jr. kidnapped Wendy Alfredo and Don McCreary. They took the women to a field behind the Rolling Acres Mall, where they then took advantage of, stabbed, and tormented them for 3.5 hours, eventually choking and bludgeoning them to death and abandoning the bodies. Now, they also carved X's into their victims' abdomens. Now, the trio was eventually caught. The details of the case were horrific, and it achieved nationwide fame. With that situation coupled with varying degrees of theft in the area, the Rolling Acres gained a poor reputation. Now, this reputation is thought to have played a role in the mall's demise, and honestly, it just seemed like it was cursed from the beginning. After the mall closed, the body of another homicide victim was discovered there, and if that wasn't enough, a man was electrocuted and fatally caught fire attempting to seal copper wiring inside, among others. Number 9. Gwinnett Place Mall. Chances are you've seen the inside of Gwinnett Place Mall, whether you know it or not. The abandoned mall was used as a filming location for Starcourt Mall in the main setting for Stranger Things Season 3. Now, despite such a recent and high-profile use, the mall wasn't able to shake its dark reputation. The empty mall has been used for a laundry list of crimes over the years, and a search for news reports about the mall will reveal several charges involving drugs, prostitution, and violent attacks. The most notable among these is the 2017 discovery of Georgia State University student Silling Man. Emmett Davis Jr. was accused in the asphyxiation-related death of Silling. Her body was found on December 21st, 2017 inside a vacant subway. Police said Davis was her boyfriend at the time of the death, and they believe that the couple had been living together in hotels near the mall during the period she was recorded missing by her family. Silling's body was found in the back room by a maintenance worker, and there were no obvious signs of trauma to her body, but police said they considered it a suspicious death and that she had been dead for about 2 weeks. Number 8. The Randall Park Mall. Measuring nearly 2.2 million square feet, the Randall Park Mall was supposed to be the future of retail in Ohio when it was opened on August 11th, 1976. But it, like countless other retail ventures, suffered economic downfalls and was such a failure that not only was the mall shuttered after just 33 years, but now is set to be demolished. The reason why might have to do with this mall having a grisly history of homicide, kidnapping, and grand theft auto, as it has tainted its reputation as it passed from owner to owner until it was eventually shut. First year sales peaked at $114 million, but the death of a 23-year-old shoe store employee, Larry Cook, in the Christmas of 1977 shocked locals. He was shot in the back of the head and robbed of around $1,000 in cash and checks. Then his body was found 2 days later when a maintenance worker spotted his feet sticking out of a snowdrift in the car park. Then just 2 years later, a food chain executive was kidnapped along with his wife, but while Julius Kravitz's partner managed to escape, he would later die from his gunshot wounds after being discovered not far from the mall. Yeah, good job they closed this place down. Number 7. Carousel Mall. In July of 2023, one person died at the abandoned Carousel Mall in San Bernardino, which is in the process of being torn down. Police weren't releasing additional details on the shooting or who died as of according to Sergeant Christopher Gray, spokesperson for the San Bernardino Police Department, but photos and videos posted on social media indicated the shooting took place in the parking structure of the former mall, which sits between 2nd and 4th Streets just east of the 215 freeway. Now, the Carousel Mall was originally called Central City Mall when it opened in 1972. The two-story mall was supposed to help spark more development in the area, but with the Inland Center Mall just a few miles away, the Carousel Mall struggled to hang on to tenants, eventually shutting down in 2017. The mall's 43-acre site has become a target for vandalism, squatters, fire, and other problems in the recent years. Now, a woman was also shot to death in the mall's parking lot almost exactly 1 year ago. So in April, city leaders took up golden sledgehammers to mark the start of efforts to tear the mall down. Number 6. Empress Mall. In 2021, a man strangled his girlfriend on the 4th floor of the Empress Mall near Gandhisigar, India, after she refused to marry him. The deceased has been identified as Farzan Farzaneh, while the accused boyfriend is Mahid Asarni. According to police, Farzaneh and Mahid had a love affair. The two were also supposed to get married, but a few days prior, Farzaneh had an affair with another man and she had started to avoid him. He then contacted Farzaneh and asked her to reach the Empress Mall. On the same day around 2 p.m., Farzaneh went to the 4th floor of the Empress Mall to meet him. He then allegedly strangled her and went home. After Farzaneh went missing, her relatives searched for her. Now, as they failed to locate her, they filed a missing persons complaint to the police. The police launched an investigation and checked her mobile call details, and when police called Mujahid for an interrogation, he confessed to having strangled her in a fit of rage. Now, police immediately took him to the Empress Mall, where her body was found in a half-decomposed state. Number 5. Madison Park North Mall. The Madison Park North Mall in West Belmore was known as the Murder Mall in recent years before being demolished about 7 years ago. It was known as a hotbed for violent crime and drug deals. In 2010, 2 homicides and 3 shootings happened there. The Central Police District Commander, Major Dennis Smith, said his officers were constantly being summoned to the complex, which contained about 200 units scattered among 44 buildings. 3 different rings, according to Major Smith, have operated on the premises. Even walking near the complex can be dangerous. One Reservoir Hill mother told The Sun's Julie Sharper that her son and daughter had been attacked when they walked past the complex, and that she now drives her teenage even if they're only going a few blocks to ensure their safety. Number 4. The Century 3rd Mall. A Pennsylvania teenager was hospitalized after the roof of an abandoned mall collapsed beneath him, officials told news outlets. Firefighters were dispatched to the Century 3rd Mall in West Mifflin after 9 p.m. on June 2nd to assist with the extraction of patient, Skyview Volunteer Fire Company said in a Facebook post. "We cannot emphasize it enough, this property is unsafe and a hazard to your health. Please, you absolutely must stay off the property," the department said. "Your curiosity is not worth you getting injured." Now, the victim, who authorities said is a teenage boy, plunged through the roof, falling about 20 feet. The once popular mall had been abandoned since 2019, the outlet reported. It has fallen into disrepair, and a fire at the former shopping center in April caused structural damage to its roof. Now, a teenage girl at the scene said she was inside the mall with her brother and some friends. There was an argument, and moments later, they heard a loud thud. The fall punctured one of the boy's lungs and broke 2 vertebrae, the outlet reported, adding that he was in critical condition. Number 3. The Airbnb. Claire Shulin has gone viral on TikTok after posting a video that showed her Airbnb rental had an entire abandoned shopping mall in the basement. The original video, set to creepy music, shows Claire happily walking around before flipping the camera to show what appears to be the first floor of an old mall. It was also shown in the video that the rental was a part of a larger hotel, not an individual home. After garnering over 7 million likes on the first clip, she posted a follow-up video addressing questions and concerns from the millions of viewers. Now, according to Reddit, the building in question is most likely the Ocean Walk Mall in Hollywood Beach, Florida. "I've heard this place is haunted, but I've never actually stayed there for more than 2 hours, so I can't confirm this," one user commented. Another thread shows an outdoor view of the shutdown mall, confirming that it sits beneath several condo units. "This place holds strong in a vacuum-sealed time loop," a local resident wrote. Now, Claire's video became so popular that another TikTok user, who goes by @whomjosh, created a response to the original video confirming the abandoned mall in the basement by revealing that he had also stayed in the same Airbnb. Now that is just creepy. Number 2. The Northland Mall. An urban explorer, Bobby, aka @true_explorers on TikTok, in 2023 posted eerie footage of an abandoned shopping mall. There are even supplies left behind, such as shopping trolleys and shopping counters. Now, the Northland Mall in Michigan, which opened in 1954, was one of the hottest places in town. Many celebrities shopped there and it made millions daily. Sadly though, it began to decline. This was largely due to shootings and robberies in the parking lot, causing shoppers to stay away. It was also affected by the rise of online shopping, and it eventually closed in 2015. "The atmosphere of the mall was very still and empty," Bobby said. "It felt like there were supposed to be people around shopping, but no one was there. Semi-eerie feeling being in such a huge building with not knowing if other people are inside." Now, while Bobby makes a point not to disturb the scene, other visitors haven't felt the same and have left their mark via graffiti, with some areas having been stripped bare. floor. Despite the structure having been left largely intact, the decay is evident. Plants are gathering mold and the wallpaper is peeling. Now Bobby added, as well as the wear and tear, in 2019 a fire broke out inside the mall due to vandalizing. And coming in number 1 is the Mall of Memphis. The Mall of Memphis opened on October 7th, 1984, closed on December 24th, 2003, and was demolished in 2004. Now this place was full of crime. In September 1992, Louise Warren was shot in the stomach as she left her job in the mall. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, several deadly shootings and a rash of robberies occurred on or near the mall's parking lots. In 1992, a 71-year-old woman, a shopping manager, was shot to death in the parking lot during a robbery attempt. Mike Blakeman, owner of the Hockey Stop, one of the shops in the mall, said my vehicle was stolen from this mall in 1998. An armored call delivery service was robbed inside the mall, and a guy ended the life of his girlfriend next to where the drugstore used to be and then ended his own life in the hall right out there, a former customer said. These events led to the Mall of Memphis developing a reputation for being unsafe and being nicknamed the Mall of Murder. With so many crimes that have happened here, I'm not shocked at all that it went out of business.
Coming in at number 10, we have Tallahassee Mall, Tallahassee, Florida. Here's one that's holding on by the skin of its teeth. In fact, this mall was shut down in 2011, but a company saw this as a great opportunity to get some money and they bought back up the lease. So this place should be abandoned, but someone out there thought a dying mall was a great investment. I don't know what was going on through their head. If I was trying to make some profit, I don't think I would look at a place that is being propped up by GameSpot and Toys R Us. I'm sure post-COVID that this mall just got launched into the dust and the whole area is just a wasteland. Coming at number 9, we have the North Bridge Mall, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The YouTubers Proper People love to go around and explore abandoned buildings, and malls are no exception. They usually go through the states to find new places to explore, and this time they were heading through a mall and ran into some pretty interesting things. The whole place is blown out. Looks like a bomb went off. All the windows are smashed in and everything is ripped out of the stores. They should really rent this thing for horror movies because the whole thing has like an end of the world vibe. Certain areas of the roof were caved in, and I think there's broken glass on every inch of that mall. At one point they get confronted by a security guard who tells them that they need to get out of the broken down mall because apparently they were trespassing. They managed to convince them that they need to go back and get equipment before they leave to keep exploring the mall. So much of the stuff in the mall is dated because it has been closed down for so long. It actually would be fun to go through and pillage out a bunch of the decade-old material to decorate your house. You can give it this pulled out of time vibe. Coming in at number 8, we have the South China Mall. Here's a mall that you might want to stay away from because if you go too deep into it, you might end up missing. Not because there's some crazy serial killer in there who wants to wear your face like a mask. Well, there might be. I haven't done my own investigative work, but just the size of this will blow your mind. The thing is 9 million square feet. Holy cow, that's a massive space that's being used for nothing. The mall was thrown up by a billionaire who got rich with a certain brand of instant noodles. Not a bad idea. Build a mall, you'll be making money off the rent, and then you could sell noodles in the food court. Brilliant! Well, it turns out no one wanted to go to this massive mall because the place shut down not long after it opened. And in case you were wondering, the dude is still a billionaire, which is the kind of rich you want to get to, where you can drop a ton of money making a massive mall and then have it fail and not even worry about it. Coming in at number 7, we have the Steph Lawless Mall. Now I couldn't get the name for this mall because YouTuber Steph Lawless doesn't mention what mall he is visiting in the comments, in the description, or in the video itself, but the whole thing looks like a massive death trap. That looks like a place where you'd find a bunch of dead bodies and then they would come to life and do some sort of weird surgery on you to make them your leader. Well, that got dark quick. But the whole place is completely destroyed and has a terrible vibe. Not the place you want to host a birthday party. Coming in at number 6, we have El Con Center, Tucson, Arizona. Now this mall has a little bit of life left in it, but it's definitely going to die. The thing has slowly been going down like a fat kid down a water slide. He might get stuck a few times, but eventually he will hit the water, and when he does, it's going to be a big splash. The mall had store after store go out of business, and new places aren't that excited to grab a spot in the mall because the whole thing looks like a desolate wasteland. In fact, to save money and make the mall easier to navigate, their owner had part of the mall demolished. He basically had a crew come in and tear down all the stuff that wasn't being used so everyone could get to the last few shops a little bit better. That's like when you get get bit by a zombie in a horror movie and they need to cut your arm off so you don't die from the infection and it doesn't spread? But let me tell you, when that happens in the movie, that guy always dies. Except for maybe in like Evil Dead when he gets the cool chainsaw arm. Coming in at number 5, we have the Fredericktown Mall, Maryland. YouTuber Chris Hopkins goes to an abandoned mall in Maryland. Before he gets into the mall, he sees squatters all set up on the outside of the mall, so there's a good chance that some people are using this mall for housing. A lot of the lights are still operating in the mall, so that means that some of the electrical could still be working, which would be awesome because there is a full arcade in this place. But I don't know how long you'd want to hang out in there because while walking through, they came across some swastikas spray painted on the walls with something written in German. That could mean that the place is being used as a Nazi meetup. I don't know how happy they would be to find you in their clubhouse. There was also some dude riding around the mall on a motorcycle popping wheelies. That sounds like a Mad Max gang member circling the mall to see if anyone's on his turf. Coming in at number 4, we have the Dixie Square Mall from Illinois. This mall was actually famous for a short time. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Blues Brothers? Well, if you haven't and you're a fan of music, you should check it out. But the mall was used for some of the movie. Everyone thought this would make the mall skyrocket to success, but it turns out crime is more powerful than fame. The violence in the area eventually led to the mall being shut down. Coming in at number 3, we have Rolling Acres Mall, Ohio. If you want to see what nature will do to our structures when we are all dead and gone, this is a perfect thing to look at. The Rolling Acres Mall in Ohio stands as a monument to winter winning over man. The mall's roof has been ripped through by the harsh winters that the Ohio climate brings, which is kind of cool. If you visit this place in the wintertime, there will be snow that will pile up in the mall through the roof, and it looks like the area that you go in The Last of Us DLC where the helicopters crash to the roof. I very much like that. Coming in at number 2, the New World Mall, Thailand. If you're working on a building and it doesn't get done, most of the time you would think that it gets torn down. Well, that costs a lot of money too, so sometimes the building will just stand there and not go anywhere, and it just stands as a monument of what could have been. The shell of the New World Mall is pretty impressive. The whole building was supposed to be an 11-story tall mall and was said to be one of the largest malls in the world. It would have been a bustling tourist attraction as well as a place for foreign investors to dump some money into the country. But what ended up happening is partway through the building process, it was discovered that the building crew wasn't following most of the regulations put in place to keep the building safe, and this led to the whole thing being shut down. That was over 40 years ago. A big problem with that was that the builders never finished the roof, so rain started to pool in the basement of the mall. This led to a massive mosquito infestation that would spread out to the surrounding areas. How this was dealt with was fish were released into the water to consume all of the mosquitoes. You can now go down there to see a bunch of cool fish if you want. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have the Cropla Shopping Center, Mexico City. The YouTuber Fearless and Far goes to check out one of the coolest abandoned malls I have ever seen in my life. This thing has a whole Greek mythology theme going on, which makes you think that there's going to be a Gorgon in the basement waiting to turn you into stone with her gaze, when in reality it would probably be just some crazy person with scraggly hair who would throw rocks at you. But the whole place was supposed to be in the style of a Middle Eastern bazaar, which is super cool, but the unorthodox style could have added to the reason why it got shut down. But there were also rumors that it was involved in a massive money laundering scam. The building has been shut down for 20 years and now is covered in broken glass and spray paint tags.
Kicking off the list at number 10, Hawthorne Plaza Shopping Center. Of course, located in Hawthorne, just outside of LA, this shopping center was full of hope back in the late 70s. The mall was officially opened in 1977, and by time 1999 rolled around, the economy just wasn't strong enough. Although its doors closed many years ago, the mall still sees a bit of life under its broken roof. Movies, shows, I mean, of course they filmed here. Look at this place. If you have this type of set, you might as well use it for something. Use it for anything, please. Anything besides crime would be a nice change. Number 8, Lincoln Mall. Heading over to Illinois, my favorite Monopoly piece ever. Yeah, I haven't been to Illinois, but I want to go. As far as abandoned malls go, this one's pretty recent, believe it or not. The Lincoln Mall was open until January 2015, so vloggers have been documenting the fresh decay of the once blooming shopping center. Photographer Seth Lawless actually makes a living documenting these abandoned malls or theme parks, you name it. Pretty sweet gig, right? Pretty brave job. I would never, no chance. The haunting details of this one, I mean, there's banners that are still up, trees that now look like they belong in a Tim Burton film, and of course, mannequins. Mannequins are always scary, even when it's open. I don't like mannequins. A major hit here, and I mean that in the bad sense, was the closing of Sears in 2012. Yeah, that one got us all right there, right in the heart. Number 6, Metro North Mall, Kansas City. This one is a lot of fun. It's not. That photographer that I mentioned earlier, Seth Lawless, admits that the Metro North Mall is the creepiest place they have ever stepped foot in. That's a pretty good start. Now we're talking. Many of these malls have a landmark. The New World Mall has layers of terrifying escalators, unsafe but unique nonetheless. The Metro North Mall is pitch black. There's not much light that gets in the first place, but the odd beam of hope that does shine through leads to stained, moldy nothingness. Even the outside of the mall doesn't look inviting at all. There's no arches, no natural light. It's just a little brick. Just a big, ugly brick. The orange tint inside literally makes it look like it's from the movie Dune. Number 5, Euclid Square Mall. Heading to Ohio for something different. That should be their slogan. Ohio. Something different for the guy doing that. This one doesn't have pools of mosquitoes or bodies. It actually looks quite content. It opened long ago, back in 1977, but by the time the 90s arrived, like other Ohio malls on this list, it simply couldn't keep up with the economy. It closed in 2016 and was finally demolished in 2018, which is a treat. Most of the time, things just sit there and get stinky. This one, they're like, no, we're gonna break it. It's so good though, I had to include it on our list. The fake trees make this place look like it was still open. There isn't broken glass everywhere, there's no graffiti. It's like nobody was really sure if it was still open or not, so nobody went in to destroy stuff, right? After its initial closure, a worship center remained open. Yeah, you think you're gonna destroy property next to an active worship center? Okay, monster. The last remaining store, the final fighter here, was a nail salon. Number 4, Cloverleaf Mall. This Virginia mall was once 30, flirty, and thriving. The Cloverleaf Mall opened in 1972, and it had 2 major department store chains. That was the big initial pull, but when the 90s hit, everybody decided to change their fashion game up. Yeah, we were evolving as humans. Whatever jeans Mariah Carey has, we want those now. That's our style now, whatever she's wearing. The 70s style just got left behind, and it was also one of those malls with a movie theater. I had one of those growing up, but it sadly didn't make it. None of those made it. Another grim detail behind Cloverleaf Mall was when a lady went missing one day from the parking lot. She was sadly never found, and there's also numerous crimes that will still never be solved. A lot of dark history in this one. Number 3, Randall Park Mall. Oh, this one is so creepy. I can't even watch exploring footage of this one. This one is so creepy. Randall Mall opened in 1976 in North Randall, Ohio. Ohio, what's going on? And at one point, it was the largest mall on the planet. Big malls. It closed in 2009, and photographers all around the world dared to explore this one. The thing that really makes this eerie are the Christmas decorations. Yeah, not joyous at all. Yeah, right after the holidays, Randall Park Mall met its fate. So there's Christmas trees that are half decorated in the middle of glass and garbage. It's pretty sad. These balcony lookout spots would have been a sight to see back in the late 70s, but now it's dark and lifeless. The movie theater is surprisingly in remarkable condition, all things considering. There's no projectors used to illuminate this room. Now it's only lit up by a small hole in the roof that's dripping with something. Number 2, the Acropolis. Heading over to Mexico City before a big bad number 1. The Acropolis was as cool as you'd think. It was a gorgeous shopping center in the suburb of the Mexican city. It was thriving around the 80s, but then, you guessed it, in comes the 90s and everything just changed forever. Traffic had slowed down, so the end of the 90s was the official wrap party. At first, the mall was designed to serve as a tribute to ancient Greek culture. There's columns, I mean, it really did look like something from ancient Greece. Now, with it being abandoned, it couldn't look more ancient, honestly. The large open ceiling allowed for plenty of light this time, making those YouTube exploration videos crystal clear. Now we have fake runes covered in real runes. This is an odd one, definitely an odd sight to see. And finally, number 1, the Old Town Mall. Heading up to Baltimore, we got a creepy ghost town for this one. The Old Town Mall was built back in the 1800s, so we're getting really old for our last one. It opened in 1818, and it was originally named the Bel Air Market because, well, it was outside, it was beautiful. This mall doubled as a small town, so double the creepiness now. It's unique and had lots of potential. Imagine this place on a hot summer day, it would be beautiful. Right? I mean, no, it wasn't that great. There were many failed attempts to revitalize the town, and unfortunately, nothing stuck. The only thing here that kept growing was the crime rate. Yeah, right now it's about 5 times the average, so please avoid this ghost town. Just watch videos about it, don't actually go. Avoid all the ghost towns, actually. There's a video of a couple explorers driving around, and it literally feels like the opening scene to a zombie movie. It's terrifying.